Now, is she going to be frustrated? Yes. Is she going to show her girlfriends, and are they going to go, dump this guy, get rid of him? How could he? Yeah, they are. But is she going to get rid of you? Absolutely not. Because it's fun for her, it's a challenge for her, and she knows that you like her.
So when you're dating a girl and you're transitioning from dating to entering into a relationship with her, do you have to keep playing the game? Well, in this video, Chris and I are going to talk about how to keep a girl chasing you forever. So welcome, Chris.
Hey guys.
So both of us get a lot of questions from our coaching clients along the lines of like, well, Bobby, when can I stop playing the game with her? And sometimes it's a guy who's on a little bit of a rocky terms, he's been dating her, but maybe he senses that her interest is slipping, or maybe things are going well and he's just like, when can I kind of relax a little bit? So in this video, we want to talk about that balance between relaxing and becoming comfortable with her being your girlfriend, but also having her always want more, keeping her chasing you, because ultimately that's what we want, right? We don't want to be in a relationship where she's settling for us. We want to be in a relationship where she's happy and craving us. So let's talk about some of the things that we've noticed with our clients and things that guys can do that allow them to keep that chase going.
Right. So we get you in, we coach you up, and you get the girl chasing you. But some of the challenges kind of fade away as the relationship gets more and more serious. There might be certain things that you're not using anymore. We made the joke before we started this video, there'll be a time you're not dating 5 to 10 other women, and that's kind of the challenge. She's trying to win you over. But there are kind of lifelong challenges, and there's like lifelong things that you should never let a woman tame you on. And I think there's a lot of value into learning those things. So we have 3 of those today, and we're excited to share them with you.
Yeah, I think a part of this comes from you and I. We both have this sort of saying, once a woman knows she has you, it's over. And that kind of elicits a lot of guys questioning, well, when can she know she has me? And what you and I kind of sat down and started discussing was, well, what are the ways that she can never know she has you? Because obviously at some point,
she's going to know you like her.
She's going to know that you like her. You're going to say, I love you to her, right? You're not going to be this cold, emotionless guy that never expresses his feelings. So how can she not fully know you have her, which allows her to continue feeling like she has to win you over a little bit and chase you a little bit, which keeps her invested in the relationship. So let's get into a few of the ones that we've discovered that are really, really effective.
So the first one that I see a lot that you should never let a woman tame you on is your seriousness, right? I see this all this time with coaching. Guys just get too serious. And I have a little saying here that I wrote down. I wrote, you can be in a serious relationship, but you can never take the whole thing too seriously. And that's a mistake we see all the time. I was just working with a guy. The girl was pulling back. She said she needed space, and she wanted to come get her key, right, from his apartment. So they set up a time for her to come over. And she was texting him, listen, I really want to talk about what happened. I really want to tell you what went down. And I told him, I go, when she gets there, do not talk anything about the relationship. Don't get into what happened, who said what, how it all transpired. She's going to want to do that, but don't do it. Keep it light, keep it fun. It's totally cool. Let her come get the key. So she shows up, she gets the key, and she tries, hey, just sit down. Maybe we'll figure out what happened here. No, he just kept it light and playful. Now, listen, the guy was hurting inside. I'm not going to say this is all a joke. It's going to hurt you. But you want to put on the frame that you're totally fine with it. So she leaves. She didn't get what she wanted, which was a 2-hour conversation about what happened in the relationship. 5 minutes after she left, she texted him, hey, you want to do something? You want to grab dinner? And guess what? In a week, they were back together because he didn't buy into the narrative of we have to sit down and figure out what happened and make everything feel all heavy. And, it just puts a dark cloud over the relationship when you do that. Try to keep it light and positive despite her pulling back.
Yeah, I'm working with a guy, I've been working with him on and off for years. And recently he had hired me to get back with an ex-girlfriend, and he got back with her and things had been going well. And then he started getting nervous, right? That he would kind of pinpoint little things she was doing that either he sensed maybe she wasn't as interested, and he was getting really nervous. And he would tell me how, so I asked her about it. And then, next call, he'd be like, then I told her that this, and I go, stop bringing these things up. because it's not fun for her, right? To constantly, because in your example, she tried to bring it up, but I've coached a lot of guys.
Oh, guys do it too.
Like,
yeah.
Bobby, I wanted to ask her, like, and I'm like, stop, just enjoy your time with her, because it's not enjoyable to be analyzed. And I've even had clients, not the client that I'm just mentioning. I had another client where the girl actually kept telling him, like, stop analyzing our relationship, because that's not fun, right? And
Yeah,
like you said,
it's like a magic trick, a relationship, right? And if the magician, you see him do it and you go, whoa, what a trick. And the magician went, hey, I had the rabbit hidden in the hat. Did you see? That's how I did it. Takes all the fun out of it. Let it be magic.
Yeah. So some of the advice that I gave the client that I was just working with, when he told me, like, well, my girlfriend gets in these moods and it upsets me. So then I start asking her what's wrong or how come we can't. And I go, if she's in a mood, right, you can't change her mind, change her mood. Don't go, let's talk about this. And because you're not going to logically change a woman's, interest level. You have to do it emotionally, right? So if you're with a woman and something is not going right, change her mood, make her laugh, get sexual, do something to snap her out of whatever that feeling that you don't like is happening, right? So you want to avoid, like you said, you want to avoid the talk early in the relationship even, right? Like a lot of times guys get upset because I say, don't be the one to initiate the talk, because there is that point when you're in that, are we together? Are we not together? And you kind of want to know, right? And I always tell guys, like, just act as if you're together at that point, but don't be the one to sit her down and go, so are we exclusive? And like, let her have that conversation. And even when she has it, I always tell guys, like, when a girl has that, I still am like sort of vague with it. Like I'll give her what she wants, but I'll never be like, I'll always throw like a joke in there to leave her guessing a little bit. Like, I'll be like, oh, and of course I'm serious. Of course, like we're exclusive. I mean, except for like Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. But other than that, we're
exactly. But she knows deep down you care. That's the thing. You can make that kind of joke, but it always that 1%. Yeah.
Yeah. You just want to keep her a little bit on her toes.
Yeah, to your point about that, I always tell clients it's got to be her idea, right? It can't be your idea to become her boyfriend. No one likes other people's ideas. They like their own idea. If they thought of it, oh, what a great idea. I want him to be my boyfriend. But back to the talking thing, it's surprising. I have a lot of clients, they're in more deeper relationships, but they're going to couples therapy. And I'm laughing here because I'm like sitting around, again, talking and analyzing this relationship is not going to raise her interest. And of course, I mean, none of those things work out. I mean, from the dozens that I've heard. So you can't talk about it. Another thing I bring up is don't try to get closure before the relationship's over. You've probably seen this in coaching as well. We've kind of learned it takes an average of at least 3 times for a relationship to end. The first pullback or, I need space, that never sticks, right? But when you hear that, you think it's over. You get all defeated. I'm coming to get my stuff. Will you still have my book? What are you doing? It's not time to talk and analyze and get your book back from her. Act like everything's cool, everything's fine, because odds are you're going to get another chance, another shot to turn this around. So don't ruin it by making everything seem so heavy and we have to talk.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I had another client. I had that exact conversation with him where he was freaking out because his girlfriend, and they had been together for, I'd say about a year and a half. And he's freaking out because she's like ending things. And I said exactly what you said. I go, the first breakup never is the real one. Never. Yeah. Like, unless you catch her in bed with like, some guy, or like she catches you in bed with somebody. Like, the first breakup is never for real. So you have to sort of relax and go, okay, like this is like, I have to handle this right, because if you handle it wrong and you get all needy and you start like begging, you could push her away. And even if she does come back at that point, you're not going to have any power in the relationship, which means she's just going to leave again. On the other hand, if you just go to yourself and you're like, because I tell guys this story, like, I remember one of my serious girlfriends, the first one that I dated for like three years. I mean, we broke up like 4 times. Even when she later on like met the guy she wound up marrying, we'd still have like meetups where we'd sleep like, and it's like, if I had known that at the time that was going to happen, I probably would have handled everything better anyway, and just been like, okay, let's just enjoy this, right? Because it's not over, and there's no reason to have that serious, like, what's going on. And when she does start hanging out with you again, being like laying the ground rules and talking about, like, just enjoy it, right? Change her mood, not her mind.
She's curious about why she's kind of pulling away or breaking up with you and it's not affecting you, right? She's curious about that. Why didn't this guy just go jump off a bridge? I just ended things with him. So it's what gets you back into the relationship.
Yep. So let's jump into the next one. We talk about this whole concept of, okay, she can know that you're interested. She can even know that you're in love with her. But what are the things that she can't fully tame in you?
Here's another big one that I see when I'm doing coaching. Slowly but surely, they tame your time. And by that, I mean your attention and how often you're available. And I'm sure you see this a lot too. First, I want to talk about the messaging part of it, right? And it's not even us getting on guys that they're messaging too much. It's what you allow her to message you. So when I'm working with a guy and, tell me the messaging strategy. What's going on in that department? Well, she's forwarding me memes. She's not even writing to you now. She's just forwarding stuff. Forwarding jokes and recipes. I mean, where are we at here? She sends a photo of her dog. Look at Barky. Isn't he so cute? He's eating some new food. And you're like, oh my God. But you're replying to all this because you don't want to be mean, right? You're lowering the bar for what a woman thinks she can contact you about, right? And that would be totally fine. But a lot of these guys, when it comes time for her to show up for the date, she's not showing up. She's canceling. She's making an excuse. And I'm saying, well, you talk to her all day, 24/7 for the last week. Of course, she's not going to meet you on Friday night. You guys talked about everything. You allowed her to contact you on a whim all week. That's why she broke the date. You have to let her know, hey, Barky, I'm glad Barky got a new toy. Let's talk about that when we meet up on Thursday night.
An important part of this too is establishing expectations for the relationship, because I noticed this. I have married friends and they've been with their women just as long as I've been with mine in a lot of cases. And we'll go out to dinner. I'll go out with one of my buddies and the entire dinner, he's like getting texts from his wife. And I'm like, you friggin' live with her. Why are you like, and same thing. She's sending him like a funny video or I'm like, she can't let you enjoy, your night. Your night. And I showed, they're like, no, you don't talk to yours. And I'm like, I showed them my phone. I'm like, I literally have like in the last month, like 3 texts with me because I'm like, I see her all the time. Like, I want her to miss me when I'm not around. Right. I want her to feel like, what is he doing? What's going on? Because a lot of that is fun, right? That like, who's he with? Right. Like we talked about earlier that you mentioned how we were talking about how you can't make your woman jealous, right? There comes a point where you're not going to like post a picture of you on Instagram with another girl to make a girl jealous. But on the same token, I know that when I'm out with my friends and, my woman hasn't heard from me all night and I come home, like she's into me more, right? And I like that too. When she goes out, she'll go out for a weekend with her friends and we might send one text that entire weekend. And when she comes home, like she walks in the door and we're like,
yeah, you're excited.
Because we have that, right? Where it's like if every 5 minutes I was getting a text from her or she was getting a text from me, like we wouldn't have that time to miss each other. And you and I always say, like, give her the gift of missing you. Give her the gift of thinking about you. And part of that is not always talking to her. And you have to be the one, as you said, to slow her down.
Right.
It's not always our fault, right? We take a lot of blame and you and I always like use examples of the guy messing up. But a lot of times it's the woman who's, in doing too much of this. But as the guy,
we're just going along with it.
You have to slow her down, and you have and it's very easy because a guy, I did a video on TikTok recently where I said, don't send good morning or good night texts. Funny, off topic, tons of women were like, I love those texts. So I had to create another video saying, theoretically, you love those texts, but in reality.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
What they love and the guy they stay with are two different things. There's no doubt they love those texts. Ask her what guy she stayed with and what guy she got rid of, and you'll get a different answer.
Yeah, it's so true. I go because women equate longing with love. So I kind of said they long to get those texts, right? Mm-hmm. Why they're longing to get them, they're feeling like I must love. But when they stop longing for something, that craving goes away and that interest starts to dwindle. But the point I brought this up was I had some guys respond, well, my girl sends me those texts. What should I do? He's like, should I not respond? And I go, yeah, you don't have to respond immediately. If you get a good morning text, right, you don't have to immediately respond. Like you're busy at work, right? It's totally acceptable to not always respond right away if a woman's texting you good morning or good night. I mean, I'll tell you what, there's no more desire a woman's going to have for you, if she sends you a good night text and then you don't respond to that, she's going to be in bed waiting for that text. And you know what's going to be happening that entire time? Your value in her eyes is going to be increasing, right?
But she's going to be frustrated. She's going to be mad at you.
She's going to be frustrated. But what does that mean? It means she's becoming more invested in you, right? On the other hand, if she gets the good night text, and I'm not saying never, this is not like a black or white, never send her good night text. I'm saying think in terms of you don't always have to give her what you think she wants, right? If she wants to send you memes all the time, you don't have to go, well, if I don't reply LOL, she's going to be upset. No, just ignore it. Hang out with your friends. Just don't have to feel that desire of appeasing her, because women, like you just said, right? Women don't need to be appeased to feel attraction for a man. And in fact, sometimes the more you appease her and you're constantly appeasing her, the less attraction she actually feels.
Yeah, don't be afraid to frustrate her, right? I think you could say it like that.
So what about in person, right? Guys always say, well, should I be hanging out with her every weekend, or how much time should I be spending her? What should I be doing with her as we're transitioning into that relationship role? What have you suggested to guys?
Yeah, so I don't get too strict about how much time. I hate hard rules. But one thing I do say is you want to put a high value on the time you do give. Now, this is something that might sound a little contradictory to some people. A lot of times you think you're the cool guy if you're the casual guy, right? Yeah, we're hanging out. I'm stopping by. She's going out with her girlfriends, but she's going to stop by for a little bit, hang out. We're going to watch Netflix. That's all fine. To me, later on in the relationship, when you've captured this girl, she's in love with you and she's chasing you. It's funny to think about, but when you become that casual dude, you're not getting the high time slot things. She's thinking, I can get this guy anytime I want, right? I can pop over. I can stop in. We can hang out. I'm seeing my girlfriends later. I'm going to stop at his house on my way home, right? Now, if it's just a hookup or you're not really serious about this girl, I get it. Fine. We've all done that. But if this is the girl you want chasing you, you don't want to accept those things. You want a higher time slot. And a lot of guys that I coach, they're accepting those things. And this girl is not into them. This girl is not chasing them. So I say, hey, that sounds great, but why don't we do this instead and make it a date? Now, I know what some people may be thinking. Dating's for wimps, man. Chris, I'm the casual cool guy. Dating is not for wimps if you're a challenge, if she's chasing you. I feel like dating's kind of got a bad name because like it brings up like nice guys and tuxedos and spending thousands and bringing roses. You can go on dates. You can take her to fun things, exciting things, if you're also a challenge, if she's also chasing you and you become that high time slot guy, the guy she's getting dressed up for, the guy she's talking to her girlfriends. Ooh, I'm going out on a date tonight. This is a higher level guy. The casual hangout guy is not that guy.
Yeah, the only thing worse than the casual hangout guy is the lunch guy. Right?
Oh, you keep going down. You
like
get brunch at Denny's.
For lunch. When I have a client, it's like, oh, she wants to meet for lunch. I'm like, oh, that's like literally the worst thing you can hear, right?
What's that dating app? It's just lunch or something?
No, I agree though. It's if you're looking for like sex and that's really what you want out of a relationship, then sure, like and you're getting it, right? Because
right, true.
You're presupposing if she's meeting you to watch Netflix that you're sleeping with her. If she's meeting you to watch Netflix and you're not getting physical with her at all, then you really just have a friendship, right? That's not even a relationship. But to your point, if you want to actually become the guy she's with, right, the guy that she wants to have a serious relationship with, you kind of have to pre-frame that, right? And to your point, you're not going to do that by just accepting anytime she has available. It's going to be like a compromise to an extent, right? You're not going to give her the ultimatum. We always say it because I always want to be clear because guys, I know next week you said that not to accept it, so I gave her an ultimatum. It's not about giving her an ultimatum like I only will hang out with you on Friday night. It's like be willing. We always say, I think we said this in another video. It's like be willing to walk away or be willing to not. If you go, well, why don't we go out? And she's like, well, I can't. She's like, all right, well, you know what? When you're free for a night out, hit me up and let's go out. Instead of saying, oh, well, you can't, let's just meet then, right? Hold yourself. You don't have to go, I'm only going to go out with you but just don't be available for a lunch meetup, right? And
or politely spin it into something else, right? You don't even have to decline. You could say, hey, that sounds fun. She says, hey, me and my girlfriends are meeting at the bar to watch the game. Hey, that sounds like a lot of fun. Can't do that. What I can do is this, right? So sometimes they're not doing it to be mean to you. They're just seeing if you'll accept it. Hey, I can get him anytime I want. You say, hey, politely decline that. Let's do a higher time slot thing instead. It just looks like you value your time more. You're that guy she's putting effort into, getting ready for. At least at the beginning, listen, we all get to the point, it's your girlfriend. You order food, you're on the couch, you watch Netflix. I get it. But at the beginning, when you're trying to win this girl and get her chasing you, you got to be the higher time slot guy. And just real quickly, it's funny. I think we talked about this in a previous video. At first, when you put a higher price, because we're always as dating coaches, put a higher price tag on yourself. You're valuable. At first, they don't accept it, right? They don't. It's like this. Remember, like the airlines, like a few years ago, they started charging $50 for a checked bag, right? Yeah. Like out of nowhere. And what was your first reaction, right? I will not pay 50. This is ridiculous. I will never fly JetBlue. What are you doing a few weeks later? You're paying the $50. You're flying to Miami, right? Girls are the same way. They're going to hem and haw and they don't want to do it. And I'm not, usually I can get Chris to just pop over. I'm not going, on this romantic date with him. But guess what? If they like you, they're paying the $50. They're paying the higher price, even though they haven't in the past. So you kind of got to hold out and really have them accept that, hey, I'm a higher value than I used to be.
Yeah, I had this. Something similar happened with my girl when we were in the very early stages where she would always invite this other couple. We met through another couple, and she would always want to invite them along, which was kind of fun. But eventually I'm like, I don't want to be like the guy you hang out with that couple.
Right.
I want to.
Right.
So one day I was like, oh, we're going to go to New York. She's like, oh, we're going to invite, and she named the couple. And I'm like, why don't we just go ourselves tonight, right? I think it'll be a chance for us to hang out. And she was like totally cool with it. And she wasn't like inviting them she was just doing it because it was like easier for her, right? But eventually you have to, it was just say, hey, why don't we just go out, just the two of us, right? And sometimes that's all you have to say. It's not a big deal all the time. Sometimes they're just doing it for a comfort level, or sometimes they don't know what you want.
Right.
So you don't really know, but you just kind of have to, like you said, you have to actually put it out there that, hey, let's do something a little bit more together. Let's do something more like a date rather than just, you stopping over after your, night out with your friends.
Such a great example, because with coaching, I see that all the time. They met in a group, right? And then you want to keep that group together. We're all going to go out. But again, it's not the highest time slot thing. You want to be that one-on-one, makes it seem more special, more effort. So good point.
So what is the next thing that guys want to be conscious of not letting her fully tame or have as you enter into that relationship phase?
Right. So the final one we'll talk about here today, and this is a lifelong challenge, something you never want to let her tame you on, is your reactions, right? She cannot tame your reactions. And we see this a lot with coaching. It's kind of the hardest test, right? When she gets frustrated with you and she's kind of upset about something, can you not lose your cool? Can you keep your sense of humor and not let her kind of move you off your spot? That's kind of like the final test really women give you. I had a guy recently that, the girl was pulling away. She had broke up with him. We were able to turn it around. He got her back. And now he was, going at a slow pace, taking things the right way. And she texts him and says, hey, I just want to make sure that you're still serious about us. I kind of feel like you're slowing down now. I want to make sure this relationship is still, going serious, right? So he's like, oh my God, Chris, I'm freaking out. What should I do? I just got this text. I go, all right, here's how we'll handle it. We'll diffuse this with humor. So I go, here's what you write back. I go, write back this. Babe, I live my life a quarter mile at a time, and I want you along for the ride, right? It's from The Fast and the Furious, by the way. The point is this. It's funny. It diffuses what she was trying to do to make you all serious. But in a way, she likes it, right? Test passed. This guy really has changed. He's not going to get all serious. But here's the thing. She knows you really like her, right? This is a guy that's been chasing this girl for months. It's not like you're being mean, like you don't like this girl. She knows you like her. It's a fun message. Now, is she going to be frustrated? Yes. Is she going to show her girlfriends, and are they going to go, dump this guy, get rid of him? How could he? Yeah, they are. But is she going to get rid of you? Absolutely not. Because it's fun for her, it's a challenge for her, and she knows that you like her.
Yeah, and this sort of goes back to what I was saying earlier, right? Change her mood, not her mind. Don't let her drag you into a logical discussion, right? And we had a video recently where you and I talked about how women test men and how to pass these tests. And one of the things that guys don't realize is that this idea of being tested by women, it isn't something that only happens like on the first date or the second date. I mean,
Right.
it happens your entire life with that woman. You have to be able to understand that women just have this emotional turbulence, right? Where for them, drama and conflict, right? They thrive on it, a lot of women.
Right.
And as a man, it's like they want you to ground them. They're not going to say that to you, right? They're not going to go, I want you to ground me. But that's what, when they come to you with this drama or this conflict, what they're really looking for is that masculine energy to ground them. And what happens is a lot of guys, they don't know that. And I know that I didn't for a while. And I would respond back with that drama and conflict and that feminine energy. And when you do that, it's like, it's a mismatch, right? Because she's coming at you with all this drama and she's just looking for you to like diffuse it, like you said, with either humor or you know, other ways to do it that I've discovered. Humor's a great way. If humor doesn't work, and I'm like getting that conflict, I'll just pull her towards me, kiss her, and go, "You're so sexy when you're angry," or you know, like, and you diffuse it with intimacy or sexuality or something, because that's really what they're looking for, right? Women, I don't know why women are programmed like this, but for them, that, I mean, it goes back. They love desperate. I mean, what is it? Housewives of New York City, these kind of shows. It's all about that, you know, that feminine, angry drama and conflict, right? And women just, they gravitate towards that, but you have to be conscious of not getting sucked into it, right? And just being able to diffuse that, because it may seem like they want to suck you into it, but the minute they suck you into it, it's like it pops a little bit of the balloon and kills a little bit of the chemistry that they feel with you.
Yeah, I think I got a saying to sum it all up. Like you were saying, Desperate Housewives, all this stuff. So the women, they love the drama, but they don't want you to take it seriously. It's fun for them. This isn't Desperate Housewives. It's not serious. And when you take it serious and you're like, oh my God, Chris, this is serious, they're laughing at you. They're like, I thought this was a cool guy. He's taking my drama seriously. I get so many things like this in coaching. Like, Chris, she was mad about this. She thought I was texting another girl, so I gave her my phone. I had her call the girl. The whole time the girl must be thinking, I thought this was a cool guy. He's taking all this seriously. Oh my God. So yes, they love the drama, but they don't want you to take it seriously.
Yeah. You have anything else, any other examples of ways women tame men, even in regards to the reactions or any of this that we can leave guys with, where sort of like the mantra that you just said?
Yeah, well, I'll say this. I mean, the biggest fear when we get to this point, working with clients, when we put these things into practice, is if I do this, Chris, she's going to walk away. She's going to leave. I'm afraid to frustrate her, which we just talked about in this video. It gives her positive feelings. So what I always do, I do so many cases, and every time they'll say something like, well, before me, she dated this guy, and he was really toxic, and he really frustrated her. And they dated for 5 years. And I go, whoa, wait a second. Okay. So he really frustrated and he was toxic, but they dated for 5 years. But all these nice guys she got rid of in 2 weeks. And don't get it wrong. I'm not telling you to be toxic. I'm not telling you to be the bad boy. But the proof is right there. She wanted a challenge. She wanted to be frustrated. She didn't walk away from him for 5 years. And I don't hear this once. I hear this in every case. Do not be afraid that she's going to walk away.
I can't tell you how many times that I'm working with a client and he's scared to frustrate her. Exactly. He's like, you know, I'm scared to make her jealous because her last boyfriend that she dated, like you said, she dated this guy for 5 years and he was always cheating on. And I'm like, and you're afraid to just go out with your friends one night? And it's like, come on.
That's so
funny.
funny.
This guy for 5 years and she's telling you how he cheated on her. And you're like, if I don't answer her text one night, she's going to break. No, we always say this, right? If you want a blueprint of how to seduce a woman, look at the guy that she was with for the longest amount of time.
Exactly.
And one of the reasons guys wind up in the friend zone, right? This was probably my experience of winding up in the friend zone for the first 22 years of my life, was because I'd be friends with some girl and she'd be dating this, sort of player guy. And she'd be like, he never calls and he never sends me flowers. And, she'd be, like you said, she'd be with him for a couple of years. And I'd be like, I'm going to be the knight and I'm going to do all these things because he's not doing it. And that's how It's like, well, she's with him, right? Like, and that's always the case. So it's like, don't try to do the opposite of what she complained about her last boyfriend. Now, again, if her last boyfriend cheated on her, doesn't mean you have to cheat on her. We're not saying that. In fact, I don't recommend cheating. Everybody has their own moral compass. For me, when you're in an exclusive relationship, you don't cheat. But that doesn't mean that you don't frustrate her in other ways. You don't withhold attention. You don't like, slow her down. You don't do all these other things that we're talking about. And don't be scared. You're really, I'm glad you brought that up, because so many guys, I had that conversation with them where they're like, I don't want to do that because her last boyfriend did that, and it upset her. Yeah, but she was with him for 3 years.
It's unbelievable. I hear it all the time. But she married him. I hear that. Yeah, she married him. I'm like, okay. So, yeah, I would say to leave you with like kind of a saying you could always think about: frustrate her in a positive way, right? Those bad boys of her past frustrated her in a negative way. She still enjoyed the frustration, but it wasn't a good type because that guy probably didn't like her much and he was a bad guy. You're a good guy. We know you like her. You're a nice person. I say that as a compliment, but you're also giving her that positive frustration. When you combine all that together, you're the number one guy. This guy likes me. This guy's awesome. This guy's a good human being. He's giving me a challenge. He's frustrating me. I'm enjoying it. What's better than this? So she can't dare her to walk away from that is what I'm saying. She can't do it. She won't be able to.
Yeah, one of the things that, and you said he's a good human being. That's a piece of advice I give to clients is like, be a good guy, not a nice guy, right?
Right.
Good guy, there's nothing wrong with being a good guy. A good guy has integrity. A nice guy is doing things because he's scared of losing her, or he really, really, really wants to impress her, right? A good guy is doing things because he's just a good guy, and it's not bad to be a good guy. Women want a good guy, but they don't want a nice guy. So, what's really good about everything that we discussed in this video is that it's lifelong. We in the beginning we said how to keep her chasing you forever. And you and I now have been in serious relationships for quite a while with our girls, and we always do these things, even if it's not conscious. At some point, it's not like you're consciously going, man, I have to. It's like it just becomes who you are. It's like you kind of realize like, oh, I don't have to ever be completely tamed, and she likes that better than if I'm some whipped guy fulfilling her every need, right?
But by the way, we're not perfect. I just want to throw that out there. I mean, you don't think there's times where I've reacted or, we're not perfect at this, so don't think that for a second.
No. Everybody, I mean, listen, when you're, we say don't get sucked into the drama. When you're in a serious relationship and she comes at you with drama, it takes willpower not to get sucked in. But if you can just fight that urge, 80% of the time you're gonna have a great relationship.
Exactly.
Like, you're gonna mess up, but if you're responding 100% of the time back with drama, that relationship's not gonna be good.
Definitely not.
So I love, like I said, that this is lifelong stuff. But guys going through this now, I know that you said a lot of your coaching clients come to you in this position of either they just started dating her and they kind of messed up and they want to recover, or they're entering that phase of we're moving towards a relationship, but I sense that she's not as into me as she was. So talk a little bit about how the coaching process works with guys and what you can kind of offer them.
Yeah, I mean, just coaching has just been amazing. I mean, maybe a year or two ago, we thought we had discovered everything, and we just keep refining the process and getting better and better at this and getting results. And again, we're not trying to brag here. I'm just saying we're excited about it. I mean, really, we fine tune this where you come in, I take a look at what you're doing, how you're acting, and okay, like we talked about today, hey, you're being too serious, right? Loosen up, have fun with this. Here's how you do it. Let me see your text messages. Oh man, come on. How are you being this available? We can work on that. How often are you seeing her? What kind of events are you allowing yourself to go to? Is she popping over for 5 minutes? Or you're saying, hey, listen, I'm a high value guy. We're gonna go on a one-on-one date. These are all things we can look at and analyze and tune you up and get you better. How are you reacting are you afraid to frustrate her? Do you need to work on that? Which sometimes isn't even a technique. It's just a mindset, like having you realize, like we talked about today, hey, she dated some jerk for 10 years. She's going to love being with you, but you need to give her a little bit of a challenge. And this is the stuff we do with coaching. We kind of look holistically at what's going on with you and your situation. and help you turn that around.
Yeah, and you said something that I found is very true, and it's like even just one thing can make a huge. I had a guy, an old client of mine, he sent me sort of a testimonial recently, and he's like, Bobby, we went over a lot of stuff and everything was helpful, but he goes, really, when you showed me that I was explaining myself and you said never explain yourself, he goes, I noticed when I stopped explaining myself, the respect that my girl had for me exploded. He's like, I always thought that explaining myself when she was right. He goes, just that. He goes, even if everything else you taught me,
good.
I get, he goes, just that made a huge difference. And that's sort of where it is. Like, we have all these blind spots, and just figuring out one or two of them can make a huge difference. So for guys interested in coaching, Chris, I'm going to leave a link below to your page that has some of your articles for guys that want to know more about you, but also a little bit about the coaching packages you offer and who would benefit the most from it. So I'll leave that link in the description below this video. And if you're on the fence, I highly recommend it, because like I just said, one little insight can make a huge difference of whether or not you're able to turn things around with a woman. But also, even so much more important, is like, it's just a skill that you bring forward into life with the other women that you're meeting, right? No matter what happens with any one girl, it's like you always want to be leveling up, because it allows you to have that feeling of, oh, I have options, right? I don't have to settle for this one, because now I kind of know how to handle things better. And if I'm not getting what I want, we talked about earlier, not being afraid to walk away. Well, if you're not getting what you want, you have to be willing to walk away. And the more skills you have and the more knowledge you have about this, the more you're able to actually walk away, which that alone makes you more attractive, that willingness to walk away. So yeah. I'm going to leave that below in the comments, and hope you guys enjoyed this video.
Awesome, guys. Good discussion.
Leave us a comment and let us know what you want us to cover in our next podcast. See you then.